Relationships are overrated. Now, I just want to preface this video by saying, if you're in a nice, healthy, loving relationship, that is awesome, and I am nothing but happy for you, and I wish nothing but the best for you and your partner. And another thing I want to say is that, relationships in themselves aren't inherently overrated. If you find somebody that you genuinely love and you guys actually jive together well, and, you guys are actually, you guys bring each other up, then that is awesome. I am happy for you. As long as you guys aren't toxic, and as long as you guys are happy together, that is all that truthfully matters. That being said, we're going to be talking about the kinds of relationships that you should definitely avoid in this video, or the ones that just definitely aren't worth the time. One thing I want to get off my chest immediately: relationships are so overrated. So many people are like, I need to fall in love, I'm so lonely, I need to find somebody. But if that is your mindset going into a relationship, you are not ready for that relationship. True, healthy, loving relationships are at their best when there is two people that are already rather complete, rather happy, rather, stable-minded beings, and then they just boost each other up. The worst relationships are when it's two broken people trying to fix themselves and simultaneously fix each other, because from the start I can tell you that 9 times out of 10 those relationships are going to crumble and fall apart like a moldy piece of bread. Those things will crumble more than a Nature Valley crunchy granola bar, you feel me? This is my message to you. If you're out there and you're one of those people that are like, I'm so lonely, I cry myself to sleep every night, I want somebody to hold me, I want to fall in love, I'm so sad. Stop. Just stop. The last thing that you need right now is a partner, trust me. First, you need to find some sort of love and happiness for yourself. Look yourself in the mirror, look into your own eyes, and say, I love myself. I am happy by myself. But when you say those words, you have to truthfully mean them. And until you're able to mean them, you're not ready for a relationship. Another thing, if your happiness solely relies on your partner or on other people, and you're not able to find happiness within yourself at any point in time, then yeah, you're not ready for a relationship, and you definitely have a lot that you need to improve upon with yourself. Now, granted, it's different if you're already in a relationship and you're going through things and your partner is there as an emotional support. That's obviously way different. But if you're getting into a relationship with the sole intention of fixing yourself through said relationship, in the same way that so many people tend to do nowadays, yeah, you are not ready for that, and you should definitely just gotta drop that idea and start working on yourself first. It just makes me really sad when I see so many people that think that they need other people in terms of a partner in order for themselves to feel complete or justified or to find true happiness, because that's not what it's all about. The beauty of life is being able to survive on your own and being happy and thriving on your own. And the beauty of relationships is, finding somebody else that only bolsters those feelings and makes you feel even more complete. I'm not gonna say any names in this video, but there's specific people in my life, I'll say, where I've had to watch them for the last however many years at this point. They were both not really in the best spot for a relationship, getting into it, you know what I mean? Things were, it was just very clear from the start that neither of them were necessarily ready for a relationship or the things that would entail, and now it's just a never-ending cycle of absolute torture and abuse, and it really negatively affects all the people around them, and, even I've kind of received some of the shockwaves of that. And yeah, that's another repercussion of bad relationships, is that not only does it negatively affect you and your partner, but it affects literally everybody around you, or at least everybody that you decide to bring into the equation. And unfortunately, a lot of toxic couples tend to, bring other people into the equation and family and stuff like that. So, just really be thoughtful whenever you're in a relationship like that, just to how it affects everybody around you. If you have kids, think about how it affects your kids, if you have siblings, or how it affects your friends, because whoever you decide to tell about your relationship or get involved in your relationship, it's gonna end up affecting them in one way or another, whether it be through stressing them out or pushing them away. And it's even worse when your kids get involved and then you end up pushing your kids away. I guess my main point with this video, or the main thing that I'm trying to say when I say that relationships are overrated, is that relationships themselves are fine, but the ideology and the idea of relationships in themselves are very overrated. And it's not relationships aren't this must-have thing that everybody actually needs, you know what I mean? So many people think they need it, and the people that think they need it are the ones that are not ready for it. Honestly, if you're in that mindset and then you go ahead and try to get into a relationship, that's actually pretty selfish. You have all this emotional baggage, and then you're just gonna be dumping it onto your partner. That is not fair to them at all. Personally, I'm at a point in my life now where I've been through so many relationships. I've been through the ringer, I've been through all the breakups. If you're one of those people that I've been talking about in this video, don't think that I'm trying to attack you. This is coming from experience. I used to be exactly like you. I used to be all sad thinking that I needed somebody to be happy. I used to think that relationships were a must in in life, that was just like a required thing that everybody did at some point in their life. But now, as a fully grown adult with much experience and many relationships under my belt, I can tell you, no, you do not need that relationship. You do not need somebody else to be happy. At this point, I've been single for 4 years, going on 5 years. I've honestly lost track of the time at this point, but it's been about like at least 4 years at this point that I've been single, and I can tell you, I've never been happier. I've found that happiness within myself, that love for myself, and I don't really have any plans at the current point in time to, go out and seek a relationship. And that's another thing, even if you do get to that point where you feel like you're happy with yourself, you can trust yourself, you can love yourself, don't just block out the idea of relationships and be like, oh, I'm good by myself. I don't need anybody else, period. Like, always stay open-minded. Like, that's really important in life. Always stay open-minded and, stay open to trying new things. Like, for me personally, again, like I said, I've been single for 4 years at this point, and I've honestly never been happier. And at this point in my life, I'm just, not only am I not ready for a relationship, but I really don't want one. I don't know. I've talked about it a lot on the channel before, but I'm really antisocial. I don't really like being around people, period. If that changes one day, sure, I'll experiment with a relationship, maybe. But at this current point in time, right now with how I'm feeling, I could live the rest of my life and never, be in another relationship. And that would honestly be the best thing for me. Again, everybody's different. Everybody has different preferences, different needs. We're all individual beings, so just experiment for yourself. Know when it's time to either walk away from a relationship, when it's time to enter a new one, or when it's time to take things slow. Never rush into things. Take your time. That's another big thing that people always mess up on in relationships, is take your time. Don't rush into things. If you've been dating for like a year or two and things have been going well, that doesn't mean that it's time to, do the whole proposal and get married. Heck, even if you've been together for a couple of years, but you're still seeing red flags, those red flags are definitely worth recognizing. Have respect for yourself. Don't settle for less than what you deserve. Just because you love somebody or you love a lot of things about somebody doesn't necessarily mean that that person is actually for you or will be beneficial to you and your mental health and your health in general and your love life long term. I mean, if anything, being with a partner that isn't actually right for you just because you think that you love them will do nothing but damage you and your standards and your love life and the health of it going forward. No matter what it is, whether you're married, whether you're dating, whether you're just thinking about getting into a relationship or you're thinking about talking to somebody, always respect yourself. In a relationship, while yes, it is always good to bend over backwards to a certain extent for a person that you love when they really need it, make sure that your needs are met. Again, you should always, bend over backwards to a certain extent for somebody that you genuinely really love and make sure that their needs are met as well, but you also need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and respecting yourself and setting your boundaries as to what you need. And again, if things just simply aren't working out, you need to just walk away. Life is finite, time is finite. Don't waste it on somebody that you're not happy with. If you're truthfully not happy, if your friends aren't happy, if your family isn't happy, if a relationship is just genuinely destroying you and you know that you need to walk away, don't waste the time. Any day could be our last on this earth. Walk away. Live free. Be happy. Don't just imprison yourself in a relationship just for the sake of it. If you need to leave, do it. I know this whole conversation is completely out of left field, but it's something that I've had to witness over the last couple of months, and it's just something that's been on my mind, and I see it all over social media all the time. Just so many people have this really unhealthy idea of what relationships are, or what they're supposed to be, or what they mean to them. If I'm going to be honest, I kind of blame social media for it. Social media has engraved such an unhealthy idea of what relationships are, or what they're supposed to be, or what level of things you're supposed to tolerate, or what you should be tolerating in a relationship. Social media has definitely influenced the way that people view relationships, their values in relationships, and the level of respect that they have for themselves in relationships to a certain extent. There's a lot of things that people put up with and do in relationships that it's not okay. People's standards are just really low nowadays. Heck, even compared to when I was younger, I've seen the decline of relationships over the last however many years. Another thing I wanted to touch on in this video is that if you're in middle school or high school, or if you're just in school period, don't worry about relationships. I mean, it's inevitable. Everybody in school dates at one time or another, or they at least think about it, or they at least want to try it. But I can promise you right now, again, I'm not saying this just to dunk all over you or dunk all over your wishes. I'm saying this as a fully grown adult with much experience, and again, I dated a lot back in high school. I can tell you right now, those relationships that you have, they are not real. Your brain is not fully developed. Your emotions are not fully developed. You may think that you love a certain person in middle school or high school, but I can tell you, when you look back at it as a fully grown adult, it may feel so real to you at this point, and you're like, no, this is true love. I know what love is. I'm not stupid. Trust me. Again, I was there in your shoes. I thought that I wasn't stupid. I thought I knew what love was, but guess what? Looking back now as a fully grown adult with fully developed emotions and a fully developed brain, I can tell you that was not love. I did not know my emotions. None of it was real. You love the idea of that person and the relationship. It's called infatuation. Go look it up sometime. There's a difference between love and infatuation, and I can promise you any relationship that you're dealing with in middle school or high school is infatuation. And even if there is a slight chance that you start to develop like some sort of feeling towards love towards another person in high school, I can tell you once again, once you're a full-grown adult and you look back at it, you'll realize, oh yeah, that wasn't actually a real relationship. Sure, I might have actually loved that person to a certain extent at the time, but once you look back at it in the future, you'll realize, yeah, that wasn't actually true love. If you want to live your best life, and if you want to live with like the minimal amount of negative emotions and stress and drama as possible, I can tell you, like, if you're still in school and you're watching this video, don't worry about relationships right now. Worry about hanging out with your friends. Worry about playing video games. Worry about making sure that your grades are good. Worry about what you're gonna get your friend at their birthday party. Like the simple, basic life stuff like that. Go outside, play with sticks, stay inside and play Fortnite. I don't care what you do, just have fun. If you're not having fun, if you're not laughing, if you're not having a fun time, if you're not enjoying life, you are living wrong. If you are living your life soaked up in stress, drama, constantly stressing out, constantly crying, constantly just feeling down on yourself, constantly feeling like you're not enough because you're not a relationship, or not feeling like you're enough because you're in a negative relationship, then again, you're simply living wrong. That is no way to live. Surviving is not living. Heck, even when you're in like senior year of high school and you're like, 18 years old and you're technically adult, even at that point, I'd argue as to whether a relationship is actually worth pursuing at that time. Everybody forgets that relationships aren't supposed to be this thing where you just like, you bounce back and forth between different partners and, you go through a relationship, get to the next one. The whole point of a relationship is to fall in love with somebody and stay with them for the rest of your life. That's the end goal point and goal of relationships. But nowadays, relationships are all about, I've had like 20 girlfriends. I've been through my fair share of breakups. It's whatever. That's not how it was ever supposed to be. Oh no, again, I know this video is completely random, but I just feel like everybody has such a warped perception of what relationships like are supposed to be nowadays, and they just have a warped perception of what relationships should be. So I just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in. And again, there's not like one end-all, be-all way that a relationship is supposed to be. I mean, again, relationships are made up of two completely random different people that are, again, completely different. They have different goals, they have different emotions, they have different values. So there's not one set in stone way that a relationship is, should be, or is supposed to be, but there is certain values and levels of respect and love that you need to have for yourself, your partner, and certain values and standards that you should hold yourself to when it comes to your love life and your standards when it comes to looking for a partner and stuff like that. It's not healthy or normal to bounce between multiple partners or to just stick it out in a toxic relationship. Relationships should just be something that adds to an already healthy and happy person, not something that detracts away from it or something that is supposed to help you reach that goal. Two genuinely happy and healthy people in a relationship should have love so intoxicating that it makes people passing on the street look at them and feel borderline jealous and feel happy for them just for the fact that they're so happy and loving together. Like, that's the ideal relationship right there. Like, just being nothing but loving and happy with each other. And again, if relationships aren't for you, don't try to force yourself into one. If you're not ready for one, acknowledge that, accept that. And I mean, if you never want to get into a relationship again, that's fine. If you want to look for one day but not right now, that's fine. If you want to look for one immediately because you're ready for it, that's fine as well. Just to kind of sum everything up, just the last thing I want to say, just make sure that you love yourself, make sure you respect yourself, make sure you love and respect your partners, make sure that you're happy by yourself, make sure that you're keeping your partners happy, make sure you value your partner's happiness, and make sure that your relationship is actually right for you. And again, if you don't want a relationship, that's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with being single for life. So I can tell you, I'm right there with you. Some people look for that one person that, they can live out their final days with, and as for me, I plan to just sit in my room and play video games for the rest of my life. And honestly, nothing could make me happier.